The ship was broken. It floated in the dark, silent except for the hiss of leaking air and the soft beeps of dying machines. No lights burned bright anymore. Most systems were down. Outside, stars stood still. Inside, time moved too slow. A few people still lived. They wore old uniforms, torn and stained. Some sat on cold metal floors, others lay still, eyes closed. They had been like this for days. Jason Cole was one of them. He wasn't a soldier or a captain. He was just an engineer. Quiet, careful, good with wires and screens. Now he was in charge. Not because he wanted to be, but because everyone else was gone. He moved slowly through the halls, checking each room. Every step made noise. Every sound reminded him that they were alone. Oxygen was low. Food was gone. Water came from filters that would stop working soon. Jason tried to fix things, but there was not much left to fix. How long? Asked Annie, the medic. She sat near a broken console, hands shaking. Jason looked at the screen. It blinked red. 3 days, he said. Maybe 4. She nodded. She didn't cry. None of them did. They had run out of tears a long time ago. Luke, the pilot, leaned against the wall. He used to fly fast ships. Now he just watched the stars. No one's coming, he said. We don't know that, Jason replied. Luke gave a small laugh. We do. They had sent messages. Short, weak calls into space. None answered. The last message from Earth Alliance said they were lost. Presumed dead. If someone could hear us, Mara said, they would have by now. Mara was a scientist. Smart, calm. She kept writing notes. Data logs. She said maybe someone would find them one day. Maybe someone would learn something. Terry, the weapons officer, sat nearby. He held a gun, though there was no one to shoot. Should have never come. Out here, he muttered. They all agreed, but saying so didn't help. Outside, the ship looked like junk. Holes in the hull, blackened metal. Inside, it felt like a tomb, but Jason kept trying. He patched wires, rerouted power, fixed what he could, not because he believed they would live, but because if someone did find them, they would see that humans did not give up. Even when left to die in space, they fought to stay alive. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Jason sat in front of the broken console. The screen flickered. Wires stuck out like hair. He had spent hours putting it back together. It was not perfect. Nothing on the ship was, but it might work. He typed slowly. Fingers hurt. His eyes were tired. Every movement felt heavy. They had been floating in silence for too long. Annie sat nearby. She watched him with quiet hope. Hope they all tried not to feel too much. It hurt too much when it went away. What are you doing? She asked. Last try, Jason said. They had sent messages before. Weak calls into space. No one answered. But this time, he used more power. He rerouted energy from what little they had left. If someone is out there, he said, maybe they'll hear. Mara walked in. Her face was pale. She held a data pad close to her chest. I finished the log, she said. It has everything. What we saw, what we did, why we came here. Jason nodded. Maybe someone will find it. Maybe. Mara said. Outside, the stars were cold and still. Inside, the air was thin. Each breath came slower than the last. Terry sat near the door. He looked at his gun again, not because he needed it, just because it gave him something to hold. Luke stood by the view screen. He stared at the black. They won't come, Luke said. We don't know that, Jason replied. Yes, we do, Luke said. We're too far. We're too broken. We're not worth the risk. Jason didn't answer. He pressed the send button. The signal went out, weak, shaky, like a whisper in a storm. Then nothing. Just silence. Again. Annie closed her eyes. Mara turned off her pad. Luke sighed. Terry put his gun away. Jason sat still. He watched the screen. Watched the signal fade into space. Then he stood up. We wait, he said. No one argued. They had done nothing else. But deep in the dark, far from where they floated, something stirred. A distant ship picked up a noise. A voice. A call. Not loud. Not clear. But enough. Enough for someone to wonder. Enough for someone to listen. Enough for someone to turn and say, "There's someone out there." Asterisk. The USS Liberty floated through deep space. It was new, fast, strong, built for long trips no one had tried before. Its crew was small but good. They trusted each other. They had to. Captain Elena Cruz stood on the bridge. She used to be a soldier. Now she gave orders. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were sharp. She watched the stars like they might attack. Daniel Park sat at comms. He wore old headphones and stared at a screen that blinked slow. The signal came again, weak, like a whisper behind a wall. "I've got something," he said. Cruz walked. "Over. What kind of signal?" "Not sure," Daniel said. "It's broken. Faint. But it's there." Around them, the rest of the crew listened. Isaac Wong, the engineer, leaned forward. Kyle Bradley, first officer, frowned. "Could be noise," Kyle said. "Could be," Daniel agreed. "But it sounds like a call." Cruz looked at the data, then at her crew. "We go," she said. Isaac shook his head. "We're low on fuel. Systems are still adjusting after the jump." "I know," Cruz said. "But if someone is out there, we don't leave them." They turned the ship. Engines hummed. Lights blinked. The Liberty moved into the dark. Hours passed. The signal grew weaker. Daniel fought with the system, trying to pull more from the noise. Then, a voice. Not clear. Just a word. "Help." He froze. "I heard it," he said. Cruz stood up. "Where's it coming from?" Daniel pointed. "That way, not far. But nothing shows on radar." "Then we look closer," she said. They moved slow. The ship creaked. Space was quiet. Then they saw it. A wreck. Floating. Silent. Broken metal. Holes in the hull. No lights. No movement. But life signs. Weak. Inside, people still lived. Kyle checked the readouts. "Looks like an Earth Alliance vessel. Old model. Can we dock?" Cruz asked. Isaac studied the screens. "Maybe. Hull's damaged, but we can try." "Do it," she said. As they moved closer, the Liberty reached out with metal arms. The two ships touched. Airlock sealed. Systems matched. Doors opened. Darkness waited inside. No. One stepped out. Just silence. And the hope that someone still breathed in the cold, because humans did not leave their own behind. Not ever. Asterisk. The Liberty moved slowly toward the wreck. The docking arm reached out like a hand in the dark. Metal touched metal. A hiss of air. A click. The door opened. Inside, it was cold. Darkness filled the halls. Broken lights flickered or stayed off. The only sound was the soft hum of the Liberty. Systems and the slow breaths of the rescue team. Kyle Bradley led the way. Helmet on. Rifle ready. He moved quiet, careful. Behind him came Rachel Norton, the medic, and Dean Porter, a Marine with hard eyes and steady hands. They stepped inside. The air was thin but breathable. Not clean, but enough to live. They walked past broken panels and torn wires. Walls were scorched. Scars from fire and impact. "This place took a beating," Dean whispered. "No bodies," Rachel said. "That's good, right?" "Maybe," Kyle replied. They reached the main room. Seats were empty. Monitors were dead. One screen blinked. Red. It read, O2 to 12%. Rachel looked at Kyle. "If they're still alive, They don't have much time. They moved deeper into the ship. Every step echoed. Every shadow felt like someone hiding. Then they heard it. A cough. Weak. Distant. They stopped. Listened. Another cough. Then a groan. Kyle raised his hand. This way. They followed the sounds down a narrow hall. The floor creaked. Lights flickered once, then died again. At the end of the hall, a door hung half open. Inside, 5 figures sat on the floor. Eyes wide, hands shaking. They looked like ghosts. Jason Cole stood first. His face was pale, his uniform torn. He stared at the soldiers like he wasn't sure they were real. "You're here?" he asked. Kyle nodded. "We are." Rachel rushed in. She checked pulses, breaths, faces. Her voice was calm. "You're safe now," she said. "We've got you." "Annie." The medic from the wreck ship looked up. Her voice cracked. "You actually came." "We always do," Dean said. Outside, Captain Cruz watched from the Liberty. Daniel Park monitored signals. Isaac Wong checked systems. They all waited. Then Kyle's voice came over comms. "We found them. 5 survivors." Cruz closed her eyes for a second, then opened them. "Bring them home," she said. One by one, the survivors stepped onto the Liberty. Cold, weak, but alive. Humanity had not left them behind and never would. The survivors sat in the Liberty as med bay, blankets on their shoulders, cups of warm water in shaking hands. Lights above them were bright. The air was clean, real, not thin or hot like it had been. Rachel Norton checked each one. She asked questions, names, dates, symptoms. They answered slowly, their minds still caught between death and rescue. Across the room, Captain Cruz watched. Kyle Bradley stood beside her. "They're lucky," Kyle said. "No," Cruz replied. "They fought. That's why they're here." Daniel Park walked in with a data pad. He looked tired but excited. "I pulled some files from their systems," he said. "It's messy, but I found something." Cruz took the pad. Lines of broken text filled the screen. Logs, final entries, maps. One file stood out, labeled, "Last contact, do not erase." She tapped it. A voice came on, shaky, fast. "If anyone finds this, we were set up." Everyone listened. The voice went on, "Not an accident. We arrived at the station, met with the Zellari, but then shots, from behind, from the dark, not theirs. Someone else." The voice stopped, static, then more. "They wanted us gone, maybe dead, maybe lost. Either way, alone." Cruz looked at Daniel. "You run this through translation?" "Did," he said. "It matches. The Zellari didn't attack. Someone used their weapons. Made it look like them." Kyle frowned. "Why?" "To start a war," Cruz said. "Or stop us from making one." Isaac Wong walked in. He wiped grease off his hands. "I checked there. Hull," he said. "Burn marks don't match Zellari tech. Different style. More advanced." "So someone else did this," Kyle said. "Someone who didn't want humans talking to the Zellari." Cruz added. Jason Cole looked up from his seat. His voice was quiet but clear. "We weren't just sent to talk," he said. "We had proof. Proof the Zellari wanted peace. If we shared it, Earth would have agreed. But someone didn't want that." Cruz met his eyes. "You're telling me," she said, "someone sabotaged a peace mission." Jason nodded. Mara Ellis, the scientist, spoke next. "If we hadn't survived," she said, "no one would have known the truth." Silence filled the room. Then Cruz stood straight. "Well," she said, "we know now." She looked at Kyle. "Get Homer online," she said. "I want every scrap of data from that wreck. We're not just saving lives anymore." She turned toward the door. We're setting things right." And the Liberty moved deeper into the dark, carrying not just survivors, but secrets that could change everything. Asterisk, 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 the Liberty moved through space. Quiet, fast. Its engines hummed low. Inside, the lights stayed bright. In the main room, screens blinked with data, maps, logs, enemy fire patterns. Captain Cruz stood near the center. She read everything twice. Daniel Park sat at comms. He worked fast. He pulled more from the wrecked ship's files, bits of video, audio clips, scans of alien weapons. Isaac Wong leaned over his shoulder. "This doesn't make sense," Isaac said. "What?" Daniel asked. "These weapons," Isaac pointed, "they're not just different. They're newer. Better than anything we've seen. So someone has tech ahead of us," Daniel said. "Or they stole it," Kyle Bradley said as he walked in. Cruz looked up. "You think the Zilari did this?" Kyle shook his head. "No, their ships are slower, less armor. If they had this kind of firepower, we'd know." Cruz turned back to the screen. "Then who?" Rachel Norton came in with a report. "The survivors are stable," she said. "But Jason wants to talk, says he knows more." Cruz nodded. "Bring him here." A few minutes later, Jason Cole walked in. He was still weak. His hands shook. But his eyes were sharp. He looked at the screen. "At the data, I remember that weapon sound," he said. "It wasn't Zilari. I'm sure now." "You told me you had proof of peace talks," Cruz said. Jason nodded. "We did. Data files, video logs. But when we got there, the Zilari were confused. They didn't expect us. Someone else made them think we were coming." Daniel frowned. "So someone used both sides." Jason looked at Cruz. Someone who didn't want peace. Mara Ellis stepped forward. She held her data pad tight. "We weren't just diplomats," she said. "We carried something important. A message from Earth. An offer." Cruz asked, "What kind of offer?" "A treaty," Mara said. "One that would have brought humans into the Zilari Alliance. Trade, tech, protection." Silence filled the room. "That's why we were attacked," Jason said. "Someone didn't want us to succeed." Cruz looked at Kyle. "They tried to bury the truth," she said, "but we found it." She turned back to the crew. "Well," she said, "they picked the wrong humans." She looked at the stars outside the window. "We don't forget," she said. "And we don't walk away." The Liberty kept moving. Not just a rescue ship anymore. Now, it carried the truth, and the people who wanted it buried were about to find out what humans do when they fight back. Asterisk, 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 the Liberty flew toward the edge of known space. No lights from other ships. No voices on comms. Just stars and silence. Captain Cruz stood on the bridge. Her face was calm, but her mind was moving fast. She had made a choice. A hard one. They were not going back. Not yet. Daniel Park sat at his post. He looked tired. His screen showed data from the wrecked ship. Scans. Audio. Maps. "I matched the weapon signatures," he said. "There's a base nearby, not marked on any chart." Kyle Bradley leaned over his shoulder. "You sure?" Daniel nodded. "Someone built it behind a gas giant. Hidden. Quiet. That means they don't want to be found." Cruz walked closer. "And now we found them." Isaac Wong came in with grease on his hands. He wiped them on his pants. "Engines are good," he said. "Shields are up. But if we're doing what I think we're doing, we should talk about it." Cruz looked at her crew. "We're not here to hide," she said. "We're not here to run. Someone tried to kill 5 people. They wanted peace to fail. They wanted war." She paused. "We're not letting that happen." Rachel Norton stepped forward. "So what's the plan?" Kyle smiled just a little. "We hit them first." Few hours later, the Liberty reached the edge of the gas giant. Clouds swirled below. Lightning flashed like silent ghosts. On board, the crew moved fast. Rachel checked medkits. Dean Porter loaded gear. Isaac ran final checks. Jason Cole watched from the side. He wasn't part of the team, but he wanted to help. Mara Ellis stood beside him. "They'll make them pay," she said. Jason nodded. They. Better. From the bridge, Cruz gave the order. "All right." We move in quiet. We leave even quieter. Homer will guide us in. We find out who did this, and we make sure they know. She looked at the dark ahead. Humans don't forget. The Liberty slipped into enemy space. No flags. No warnings. Just a mission. And a message waiting to be delivered. Asterisk, 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 asterisk. The Liberty hovered just outside the hidden base. It clung to the side of a rocky moon, wrapped in shadow. No lights, no movement. But it was there. Kyle Bradley watched the screen. "They don't know we're here." "Good," Captain Cruz said. "Let's keep it that way." Rachel Norton checked her gear one last time. She wasn't a fighter, but she came along to help. If someone got hurt. Dean Porter stood beside her, calm and ready. His rifle was clean. His mind was clear. "This isn't a war," Dean said. "But it feels like one." "It's the truth," Kyle replied. "And we're going to take it back with us." Outside, 2 stealth drones moved ahead. Small, quiet. They slipped into the base like ghosts. Their cameras sent live feeds back to the Liberty. Daniel Park studied the screens. "Looks like a command center on the far end. That's where we'll find answers." Cruz gave the order. "Go." The team moved fast. They dropped from the Liberty in a small shuttle. It landed soft and silent near the edge of the base. The air was thin but breathable. They wore suits anyway. Just in case. Inside, the halls were cold, metal walls. Flickering lights, no guards. That worried them more than if there had been some. "They left in a hurry," Kyle whispered. Dean led the way. He checked every corner, every door. Rachel followed close. Daniel stayed on comms, linked to the Liberty. "This way," Daniel said through the earpiece. "There's a data hub down the hall." They reached the room. Terminals lined the walls. One still blinked. Active. Kyle sat down. He pulled up files. Logs, messages, plans. He read one line and stopped. "What?" Rachel asked. Kyle looked up. "This wasn't just an attack on us. It was a test." "A test?" Dean asked. Kyle nodded. "They wanted to see how we'd react. If we'd fold, if we'd run." Rachel frowned. "We didn't." "No," Kyle said. "We didn't." Just then, alarms blared. "We've been spotted," Daniel shouted. A few enemy soldiers ran down the hall. Not many, but enough. Dean raised his rifle. "Time to go." They grabbed what they could and ran. Shots fired behind them. Sparks flew off the walls. Outside, the Liberty lifted off. Doors opened. "Come on." Cruz called over COMMs. The team sprinted. Jumped. Slid inside. Doors closed. Engines. Roared. The Liberty shot into space. Mission done. Message received. Humans don't break. Not now. Not ever. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. The Liberty flew home with new purpose. The mission had changed. What began as a rescue was now something more. Proof, truth, a warning. Back on board, the survivors settled in. Jason Cole still felt weak, but his mind was sharp. He helped Kyle Bradley go through the stolen files. Every line told the same story. Someone wanted war. Someone used lies to make it happen. Mara Ellis worked beside them. She read every word like it might change everything. Some of it did. "This message," she said, pointing at the screen, It's from Earth Alliance Command. Jason leaned closer. But not our command. No, Mara said. This came from someone else. Someone who never wanted peace talks. Captain. Cruz stood nearby. She listened, arms crossed. Her face showed no surprise. We've seen this before, she said. Inside jobs. People in power who don't want change. Daniel Park said it comes. He sent the data back to headquarters. No flags, no warnings. Just facts. Hours later, a reply came. Not from command. From the public. News feeds lit up across. Human space. Headline screamed the truth. Peace mission sabotaged. Humans lied to. Truth found by USS Liberty. People talked. Debated. Argued. But one thing was clear. The plan to start a war had failed. On the Liberty, Rachel Norton checked the survivors one last time. You're going to be okay, she told. Annie smiled. Feels weird to hear that. Across the room, Terry sat quiet. He held his old uniform in his hands. He wasn't sure what he was anymore. Do you think they'll listen? He asked. They already are, Jason said, and they're angry. Isaac Wong walked in. He wiped oil off his hands. I got word, he said. Command wants us back. Fast? Cruz nodded. They know we have too much. They do, Isaac said, and some people don't like that. Kyle looked at her. You think they'll try to shut us down? Maybe, Cruz said. But humans don't stay quiet when they've been lied to. She looked out the window at the stars. We tell the truth, she said, no matter who doesn't want to hear it. The Liberty moved forward, carrying not just survivors, but proof and the fire to fight for what was right. The Liberty returned to Earth space like a storm no one saw coming. News had spread fast. The truth was out. People were watching, waiting, wondering what would come next. Captain Cruz stood on the bridge as they approached the main station. Lights blinked all around them. Other ships floated nearby. Some friendly, some not. She didn't flinch. Behind her, Kyle Bradley looked at the reports. They're calling us heroes, he said. Cruz shook her head. We just did what was right. Daniel Park said it comes. He read messages from command. Some thanked them, others warned them. They want us quiet, Daniel said. They want this to go away. They won't get their way, Cruz said. In the medbay, Jason Cole sat with Annie. And the others. They were stronger now. Not fully healed, but close. They had been left to die. Now they had a voice. Mara Ellis showed them a screen. It played clips of people talking across human space. Scientists, soldiers, civilians. They believe us, Mara said. Jason looked at her. And now what? We keep going, she said. Rachel Norton walked over. She checked Terry's arm, still sore from the rescue. You good? She asked. Terry nodded. Better than I've felt in weeks. Across the ship, Dean Porter talked. With Isaac Wong near the engines. I don't think we made friends back there. Dean said. Isaac smiled. We never do. But we made a difference. On the bridge, Cruz got a message from command. Orders? Kyle asked. She read it once. Then again. Then she smiled. They want us to stop, she said. To stay out of politics, out of deep space. Kyle raised an eyebrow. Are you going to listen? No, she said. She turned to the crew. We keep moving, she said. We keep looking. We keep fighting. The Liberty passed the last checkpoint. No flags of surrender. No fear, just a ship and a crew. Carrying the truth and showing the galaxy what humans are made of. Even when left to die in space, they rise. They fight, they endure, and they never stop.